Hi, my name is Cindy Rang from the Fabric Patch in Ephrata, Washington, and I just wanted to talk to you really briefly about Quilt as you go. It's just a fast technique and something to do if you want to be quilting your blocks as you go while you're putting them together. If you're doing a fusible project or if you're doing some embroidery blocks and you don't want to take the quilt to the long arm or when you're done, there's an easy way to work on it. You can take a look at this pretty Metro Tiles quilt, and it was done this way, where everything was fused down, and while the stitching was done around all of the fusible blocks, we actually stitched through all of the layers. I'm going to flip this over and you can see that the stitching that was on the front of the block became the quilting. And so if you're quilting through all three of those layers at the same time, then you have to know how to put these blocks together when you're done. So I'm just going to give you a really quick tutorial on that. It's a nice thing to do so you can do everything in one fell swoop. So what'll happen is you start with your blocks, and so once you have, for these particular blocks, this is a pre-fused, pre-cut, laser cut block, and you're just going to go ahead and put them down on your background block, iron those down. You have your finished block. You're going to cut your backing exactly the same size, and then your batting, whichever batting you choose. When you put your batting down, you're going to layer these all together the same size, and when you do that, then you're going to go ahead and go to your sewing machine, and you have a nice workable piece that you're using, and you're just going to go ahead and stitch around these in any manner you want. You might decide to do a blanket stitch, you might decide to do a scribble stitch, you might want to do just a nice even little stitching line, and depending upon what you're doing, you'll have different thread choices and needle choices. If you're going to do something just very simple and around the edge like this, my suggestion to you is just a 50 weight or a fill thread. You always want to also make sure that you're going to start with a brand new needle. A quilting needle is a nice option just because it has a nice tip to be able to go through all three of those layers at the same time without snagging anything. All right, once these blocks are quilted and you have a couple of them done, then what'll happen is it comes time to sew them together. Couldn't be easier. All you're going to do is you're going to take your two quilted blocks and you're going to put wrong sides together. When you put wrong sides together, you're going to go to your sewing machine and you're going to sew your 1/4 inch seam allowance. Once you've done that, it's going to look something like this, and then what you'll do is you'll end up, I don't know what sort of that is all about, but you're going to press this open. And again, this is the right side of your block, this is the wrong side of your block. Once you've pressed this open, you have this really goofy seam here. There are multiple ways to finish this, where you could make your own binding, sew down by machine, flip it over, sew this down by machine. But if you're doing the Metro Tiles, what they've done for you is they've prepared all of this sashing for you. You have to cut them apart. You'll see that all of your pieces have these funny little tabs. That's just to keep everything nice and even. Don't pull those. Take your little scissors and just snip those little tabs apart. But what you have is you have this pre-fused piece, because then all you're going to do is pull off your little fusible, revealing this. You're going to lay this over the top, and once you've pressed this, I'm just finger pressing this, but you're going to actually press this. You'll lay this down over the top, and see how that totally hides your seam, which is really nice. You're just going to go ahead and press that down, and then what you're going to do is you're going to, just like you've sewn around these edges here, you're going to sew down this side and up this side. You can see that stitch right here, and I'm going to flip this up and you can see that's what creates, here's our little seam line right here, and you can see this nice little outline stitch. That's what that is. That stitch right there and right there is that edge sewing right there. After you've done all of that, your quilt is not only fused down, it's been stitched down, it's been quilted down, and all of your sashing is on hiding those nasty seams. Then you're just going to bind as usual. If you have any questions, give us a call or email us, but this is a really fast, quick way to finish something if you've done pre-fused, pre-quilted blocks, or again, if you have those embroidery blocks where you've went ahead and done all of the embroidery and the quilting at the same time. It's an easy way to finish. So Have fun and happy quilting.